All right, you guys, something wild is happening right now. Michigan, the same state that people used to be leaving in droves, is now one of the top relocation states in the country again. Yep, it's true. It's according to the U.S. Census migration data, Michigan population is growing at a rapid pace, and not just from births or local moves, but from people actually choosing to come here. And not just anyone. I'm talking families, professionals, business owners, people who could live anywhere choosing Michigan right here in this state. And that begs the question of why and why now? Well, I've seen it firsthand. We've had clients move from California, New York, Illinois, and even Florida. And almost every single time it starts with the same thing. They're not just moving to Michigan, they're actually moving away from something else. So stick around, because in today's video, I'm going to share with you the reasons people are moving to Michigan, and who knows, it might be the same reasons that you're feeling right now. Hey, if you're new to me and new to my channel, my name is Eric, and I help people make that move here to Michigan the right way, without the stress, without the chaos. We focus 100% on the lifestyle. And in today's video, I'm sharing with you some exciting news. Michigan is back on the radar, and we are one of the relocation states, the top of the list. Top of the list again, and I couldn't be more excited for it.
Anything's possible! What has he got? Argentina! If not himself!
So let's dive in and take a look at why Michigan is becoming one of the relocation states again. All right, so let's start with the data. The U.S. Census Bureau in 2023 the population report shows that Michigan gained over 40,000 residents, and that was a record year for Michigan. The largest gain in the state has seen in almost 2 decades. And most of that growth came from people moving to the state. It wasn't people being born or anything like that. It was people moving to Michigan from places like California, New York, Illinois, and even Florida and Texas. And I can assure you guys, these aren't just people moving to Michigan for the lower cost of living. They're looking for better trade-offs. You know, it's not just about affordability anymore. It's about a better quality of life. You know, we recently had a family move from Orange County, California to Northville, Michigan, and they had 2 kids. Both parents were working remote, you know, doing really well. But in their words, they were like, we're just exhausted. We're exhausted from California. Everything felt like a hustle. We had the money, but we didn't have the community. We didn't have really what we were looking for in the place that we were living. And I remember living out in California and feeling the same way, you know. So this family ended up moving to Northville, and now their days, you know, I was catching up with them the other week, and now their days like, hey, we're just, you know, chilling downtown. Our weekends are slower. We're walking to the farmer's market, and the kids are riding the bike in the cul-de-sac, which is really cool. We can just look out the front window and go see them just riding their bikes. All the kids are around from the neighborhood. And the silver lining out of all this is they're actually saving money. You know, but that wasn't even the goal to begin with. You know, their intent moving here to Michigan was not just for a cheaper cost of living, it was for more peace of mind. All right, so the big question I had to ask is why Michigan and why now? Like, what is causing so many people to move to Michigan in this mass quantity? And, you know, I see it from trickle effect. Like, I see and hear the stories, and I know this to be true, but I'm not helping all 40,000 of these people that moved to Michigan. That'd be awesome if I was. Like, so reach out and we'll help as many of you as we can. But I started asking the question, why Michigan and why now? What's happening? So here's what I gathered on this topic is people are starting to realize that you can still get a beautiful home, good schools, and real space without sacrificing safety, community, and lifestyle here in Michigan. We also have really walkable small towns, like actual seasons here in Michigan, the 4 seasons, and people want to stay. You know, you got access to things year round. Lakes, trails, parks, and top-ranked school districts, you know, all within a short drive. And here's the silver lining out of all this. It is cheaper than some places around the U.S., New York, Chicago, California. You know, it's still absolutely cheaper. So when you start taking all this stuff into account, and as a parent, you start thinking about like cost of living, quality of life, kids' education, just a slower pace of life. And I think that's really what a lot of folks are moving to. Like, we've definitely taken a step back. We're like, hey, we're just like on the go all the time, and we just want a little bit more family time. So let's just like pump the brakes. Our kids don't need to be into like 100 different activities and doing something every single day. Like, we just want a slower pace of life. I want a downtown that we can walk to. So the silver lining is, yes, it is cheaper here in Michigan, and people are starting to realize that they can have the best of both worlds. Like, I got great community, great school, great quality of life. I got the 4 seasons. I got everything I need. Well, I can do that in Michigan, and it's a little bit cheaper. Cool. Sign me up. Let's go. You know, this is the same exact story as one of our clients who we helped move last year. They were from the suburbs of Chicago. They ended up moving to Brighton, Michigan, and they were trying to get away from like the hustle and bustle. And that was really the big thing for them. They were in a really nice house. Their house was worth like 1.5 million. I think that's what they sold it for, is just under 1.5 million. But they were like, yeah, we're in a crowded area, top rated schools, but every single morning feels like a traffic jam. Like we're just constantly in traffic going into the city for work. We're going, you know, to the kids' school, and it was just, we're in the car so much. So they relocated to Brighton. Now they have a bigger home, more land, and their kids are in one of the top rated school systems in the entire state. And they're spending less time in the car and more time together as a family. And I remember this like it was yesterday, even though it was a year ago, is after a month of them living here in Brighton, they said to me, Eric, life didn't slow down for us at all. They said it just finally fit. You know, dropping the kids off at the school, then getting to work, you know, and getting back into the office. I had Zooms, like everything just fit. I wasn't rushing anymore. So if your day is built around stress, I can assure you that the zip code does not matter. You know, finding a place that fits your lifestyle the perfect way is where you want to be. All right, so all this growth here in Michigan could not be possible without a strong job market. And the reality of it, it's been changing quite significantly over the past couple of decades. You know, major investments in clean energy, tech, you know, EV and life sciences, they're flooding into cities like Ann Arbor, Novi, Grand Rapids. Ann Arbor's booming, and even smaller cities like South Lyon, Dexter, they're pulling in some high income families who actually want something more than just balance. And when it comes to remote workers in Michigan, Michigan is one of the best kept secrets in the country, in my opinion. You know, so if you can work from anywhere, why not live anywhere where your life actually feels better? All right, so here's the reality of what families are actually chasing when moving to Michigan. You know, after sitting hundreds of Zoom calls this year alone, I've heard this firsthand. You know, in every consultation I've done lately, here's what I hear over and over and over again. You know, we want less noise. We want real community. We want to raise our kids somewhere where it feels safe and sane. And you know what, you guys? Michigan delivers on all of that. You know, Michigan is an absolute playground. You get the trails, the lakes, the walkable downtowns, and you got the houses with the front porches instead of just garage doors in front of it. You've seen some of these cookie cutter neighborhoods that are being built. I see them all over the US. It's unbelievable. It's just like they're building houses on top of houses, and it's one of those things that, you know, if you live in one of those towns, awesome, good for you if you like it there. If you don't, I can assure you that's not what Michigan is about. You know, Michigan isn't just trending. It's steady. It's got a lot of healthy growth. It's got a lot of roots. It's got a lot of community. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they're looking for. But I'll be the first to tell you, Michigan is not perfect, and that's okay. You know, it's not for everybody. Listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything about Michigan. Winters are real here. You know, you're going to need snow boots, and you're going to need gloves, and you're going to need a jacket. And not every city is turnkey. The mass transit systems here in Michigan are really non-existent. You know, you want to take the bus, you might be waiting hours at the bus stop, and they're unreliable. That's just the truth. But that's why we help families figure out where they fit. Because when you find the right town, the right neighborhood, the right house, and the right rhythm, well, Michigan starts to feel less like a compromise and more like a win. So if you are moving to Michigan for the lifestyle and the job opportunities, I can assure you there is a silver lining, and you're going to save some serious bucks by moving here. And the best part about all of this is a lot of people are moving for the lifestyle, the job opportunities, and there's even a ton of people that are moving here for the price. But those people are moving here for the price, I can assure you they stay for the lifestyle. So if you made it this far in the video, you might be asking yourself, is Michigan the right fit for me? You know, if you're watching this and you've been feeling this like pull, maybe, you know, the life that you built is costing you more than it should, well, I can assure you you're not alone either. You know, you can build a new chapter here in Michigan, one with room to grow, one where the weekends feel like they're yours again. You can actually take control of them. You're not just like going through the motions, and one where you don't have to hustle and earn peace. Like if you're living for the weekends, man, I don't feel like that is ever a good place to be in. Like, oh my gosh, I gotta like work and live for the weekend. Like, here in Michigan, I feel like every day is a weekend. Every day is a weekday. Like, it just doesn't matter, right? There's always something to do, and it's just the life that you create. So a lot of it has to do with your energy. And if that's something you're thinking about, let's chat. You know, I'd love to help you figure out what version of Michigan makes the most sense for you and your family. So if this video helped open up your eyes a little bit about why people are making that move here to Michigan, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you're notified every time I come out with a new video, which is every single week. And if you are serious about making that move here to Michigan, whether it's in 1 month or 1 year from now, don't hesitate to reach out. Contact information is down below. Call call, text, email, or even jump on Zoom, and we'll make sure that you find the ideal lifestyle for you and your family. So until next time, I got some other videos here. Go check out all things living in Michigan, and I will see you on the next one.